Millions of people have watched their films, quoted their lines, and debated their genius. But behind the cameras, behind the acclaim, there are connections in Hollywood that don't always make headlines. And now, at 62, Quentin Tarantino is finally reflecting on his thoughts about Rob Reiner, and what he reveals isn't controversy, it's something far more unexpected. Because the story isn't about conflict. It's about contrast. To understand it, you have to go back to the beginning. Quentin Tarantino's journey into Hollywood was anything but traditional. Raised in Los Angeles, he didn't come from a powerful industry family or a legacy of fame. Instead, he grew up immersed in movies, watching them, studying them, memorizing them. He worked in a video rental store, absorbing stories from every genre imaginable. For Tarantino, cinema wasn't just entertainment. It was education. Across a very different path, Rob Reiner was born into Hollywood itself. The son of legendary comedian Carl Reiner, he grew up surrounded by writers, actors, and performers. But even with that advantage, Reiner had to carve his own identity. His early success came as an actor on All in the Family, but his true voice emerged when he stepped behind the camera. Two filmmakers, two completely different origins, and eventually, two very different visions of storytelling. Tarantino's breakthrough came like a shockwave. With films like Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, he redefined modern cinema, blending non-linear storytelling, sharp dialogue, and unapologetic intensity. His style was bold, unpredictable, and deeply personal. Audiences didn't just watch his films, they experienced them. Reiner's rise, on the other hand, was quieter, but no less powerful. Films like Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, and When Harry Met Sally revealed a director deeply focused on character, emotion, and human connection. His work didn't rely on shock, it relied on sincerity. And that's where the story begins to take shape. According to those who have followed both filmmakers closely, Tarantino has long admired directors who bring authenticity to the screen. But at the same time, he has never been afraid to challenge traditional storytelling. Reiner, representing a more classic, emotionally grounded approach, stood almost as a mirror image to Tarantino's style. Not a rivalry, but a difference. Some insiders have suggested that Tarantino's reflections on Reiner aren't rooted in disagreement, but in fascination. He has often spoken about the directors who shaped cinema before him, and Reiner's work exists firmly within that legacy. Yet, Tarantino's own approach deliberately breaks away from that tradition. There were moments, many believe, where these contrasting philosophies became more visible. As Tarantino's influence grew in the 1990s, Hollywood itself began to shift. Audiences started embracing edgier, more unconventional storytelling. In that changing landscape, Reiner's style, while still respected, belonged to a different era of filmmaking. But respect never disappeared. If anything, it deepened. Because behind the surface, both directors were chasing the same thing, stories that mattered. They simply chose different ways to tell them. One key moment often discussed by film enthusiasts came during interviews where Tarantino reflected on the directors he admired. While he gravitated toward bold, risk-taking filmmakers, he also acknowledged the importance of those who mastered emotional storytelling. Many believe Reiner quietly fits into that category, a filmmaker whose impact is felt not through spectacle, but through connection. Over time, the narrative became less about comparison and more about coexistence. Two styles, two voices, both shaping Hollywood in their own way. In later years, as Tarantino's career evolved and Reiner's legacy solidified, the conversation shifted again. It was no longer about differences, but about influence. The industry had room for both approaches, and audiences continued to embrace them for different reasons. Looking back now, Tarantino's reflections reveal something deeper than opinion. They reveal perspective. Because in an industry obsessed with competition, not every story is about rivalry. Sometimes, it's about understanding. About recognizing that there is more than one way to tell a story, more than one way to leave a mark. And maybe that's the real truth behind it all. Not tension, not conflict, but contrast. Because sometimes, the filmmakers who seem the most different are the ones who define the boundaries of creativity itself. If this story gave you a new way of looking at Hollywood, share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think different storytelling styles can coexist, or does one always redefine the other? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more cinematic documentaries uncovering the untold stories behind Hollywood legends.